Listen to me, your energy is everything. The way you think, the way you show up, the way you react to challenges, opportunities, and setbacks, it all matters. Most people don't realize this, but the reason they feel stuck, exhausted, or unfulfilled isn't because life is unfair. It's because they're spending their energy in all the wrong places. They're giving their focus away to distractions, negativity, toxic people, and external validation instead of directing that energy toward themselves. If you want to transform your life, the first thing you need to do is shift your focus inward, not on what they're doing, not on what they're saying, not on who's ahead of you, behind you, or next to you, on you. Because the second you take control of where your energy goes, everything changes. You start building the life you actually want instead of just reacting to the one you have. Here's what happens when you don't focus on yourself. You waste precious time scrolling through other people's lives, comparing, feeling behind, doubting yourself. You give your energy to people who drain you, who don't support your growth, who keep you small. You get trapped in a cycle of overthinking, waiting, hesitating, and playing it safe. And before you know it, years pass and you wonder why you're still in the same place. But let me tell you something. Every successful person you admire, every person who has built something meaningful, every person who radiates confidence and fulfillment, they all have one thing in common. They took control of their energy. They stopped waiting for someone to save them, to approve of them, to believe in them. They made the decision to focus on their growth, their mindset, their actions, and they built their future from the inside out. I know it's easy to get caught up in the noise. I know it's tempting to seek validation, to compare, to wait for the right moment. But let me be clear. The right moment doesn't exist. No one is coming to give you permission to be great. No one is going to hand you success, confidence, or happiness. That is something you create step by step through the choices you make every single day. The first step is awareness. Ask yourself, where is your energy going? Who or what are you giving your attention to that doesn't deserve it? How much time are you spending on things that don't move you forward? The minute you get honest with yourself, you take your power back. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the creator of your own life. The next step is action. And this is where most people get stuck. They overthink, they wait for motivation, they let fear stop them. Listen to me. Motivation is a lie. It's unreliable. You're not always going to feel like taking action, but you do it anyway, because that's what discipline is. That's what commitment is. And that's what separates the people who achieve their goals from the ones who stay stuck. You don't need to make a huge, dramatic change overnight. You just need to make one small shift at a time. Maybe it's setting boundaries with people who drain you. Maybe it's getting up 30 minutes earlier to work on your goals. Maybe it's replacing negative self-talk with empowering beliefs. Maybe it's taking one small action toward something that excites you. Whatever it is, the key is to start. The reason most people don't change isn't because they're not capable. It's because they're afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of what others will think, afraid of stepping outside their comfort zone. But let me tell you something. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Transformation doesn't happen in safety. If you want to build the life you truly desire, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to do things differently, to take risks, to trust yourself, even when you don't have all the answers. And when you do that, when you start showing up for yourself, prioritizing your energy, making decisions based on your vision instead of other people's expectations, you will feel an internal shift. You'll start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You'll start attracting the right people, the right experiences, the right circumstances, because your energy is no longer scattered. It's focused, it's intentional, and that changes everything. So here's the truth. Your life isn't waiting on anyone else. It's waiting on you. You have the power to shift your energy. You have the power to rewrite your story. But you have to decide right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Take a deep breath, stand up straight, and remind yourself that you are capable, you are worthy, and you are in control. And then take that first step, no matter how small, toward the life you know you're meant to live. Stop seeking validation. Seriously, stop it. The moment you start living for yourself instead of for the approval of others, your entire life changes. And I know that's easier said than done because for most of your life, you've been conditioned to seek approval from your parents, from your teachers, from your friends, from social media. Every time you accomplish something, there's a little voice in your head wondering, will they notice? Will they be proud? Will they approve? And when they don't, you start questioning yourself. You start doubting whether you're good enough. You start thinking maybe you're not capable, not worthy, not deserving. And that's the real problem. Let me tell you something. Your worth is not determined by other people's opinion. Your value does not increase or decrease based on how many people clap for you, follow you, like your posts, or validate your choices. Your worth is something that is inherent. You were born worthy. And the only person who needs to believe that is you. The reason so many people feel lost, unfulfilled, or stuck is because they are living their lives based on other people's expectations. They are making choices to impress, to fit in, to be accepted, and in the process, they completely lose themselves. Think about it. How many times have you made a decision because it was what someone else wanted? How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you stayed in a situation, whether it was a job, a relationship, a friendship, because you were afraid of what people would think if you walked away? That's not living. That's performing. And the price you pay for that performance? Your happiness, your peace, your authenticity. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore everyone and never take advice. There are people in your life who love you and want the best for you. But at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with your choices. You are the one who has to wake up every morning and face yourself in the mirror. So the question is, are you living a life that feels true to you? Or are you living for the approval of others? It's time to break free. It's time to stop looking for permission. It's time to start trusting yourself. And I know that's scary because when you stop relying on external validation, you have to learn how to validate yourself. That means being okay with making decisions that other people don't understand. That means being comfortable with the fact that not everyone is going to like you. That means realizing that you can be the kindest, most hardworking, most genuine person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. And that's fine. That's life. Because the truth is, you don't need everyone's approval. You just need your own. And once you realize that, once you truly internalize it, you will experience a level of freedom that most people will never understand. You will stop second-guessing yourself. You will stop hesitating. You will stop holding yourself back. You will start making decisions based on what's right for you, not what's expected of you. You will start pursuing goals that you actually care about, not the ones that look good on paper. You will start showing up as your real, unfiltered self instead of a version of you that's been watered down to please everyone else. And let me tell you what happens when you do that. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences, because when you stop pretending, when you stop trying to be someone you're not, you make space for the life that was meant for you. You start building confidence, not because people are validating you, but because you trust yourself. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you know that you don't need anyone else's permission to go after it. So let this be the moment you decide to take your power back. Let this be the moment you stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're enough, because you are right now, exactly as you are. Not when you get the promotion, not when you lose the weight, not when you hit a certain milestone. Right now. Stop seeking validation. Stop letting other people dictate your worth. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. The only approval you need is your own. And once you fully embrace that, your entire world will change. Comparison is the fastest way to destroy your confidence, your focus, and your happiness. Yet so many people do it every single day without even realizing it. You wake up, pick up your phone, and before you've even started your day, you're already measuring your life against someone else's. Their success, their looks, their relationships, their achievements. And just like that, you go from feeling okay to feeling behind. You start questioning if you're doing enough, if you're good enough, if you'll ever catch up. But here's the truth. There is no race. There is no timeline you need to follow. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. The problem with comparison is that it's never fair. You're comparing your reality to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their struggles, their insecurities, their failures. You don't see the sacrifices they had to make to get where they are. You only see the end result, the perfect picture, the filtered version of their life. And then you take that image and use it to tear yourself down. But why? Why would you waste your energy worrying about someone else's journey when you have your own path to walk? You need to understand that your journey is yours for a reason. You are not here to be a copy of someone else. You are here to create, to grow, to evolve into the best version of yourself. And that doesn't happen when you're constantly looking left and right, checking to see what everyone else is doing. That happens when you focus on your own progress, your own strengths, your own goals. Think about it. Every time you compare yourself to someone else, you're distracting yourself from the work that actually matters. Instead of using that energy to build yourself up, to take action, to improve, you're wasting it on self-doubt. And self-doubt is one of the biggest killers of potential. The more you feed it, the more it grows. It keeps you stuck. It makes you hesitate. It convinces you that you're not ready, that you're not talented enough, that you'll never measure up. And none of that is true. The only way to break free from comparison is to shift your focus. Instead of looking at what they have, start looking at what you have. Instead of obsessing over their success, start working on your own. Instead of feeling intimidated by someone else's achievements, let it inspire you. Let it remind you that if they can do it, so can you. But you're not going to get there by watching them. You're going to get there by focusing on your own growth, your own discipline, your own journey. And let's be honest, comparison is a distraction. It keeps you so focused on other people that you forget to take action in your own life. But action is what creates real change. Not scrolling, not overthinking, not wishing you had someone else's life. Action, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter how far ahead they seem. The only thing that matters is what you do with the time and opportunities you have. So how do you stop comparing? You remind yourself that your path is unique. You focus on small daily improvements. You celebrate your own progress, no matter how small. You recognize that no one has it all figured out, no matter how perfect their life looks from the outside. And most importantly, you get to work. Because every second you spend comparing is a second you could have used to grow. And listen, I get it. It's not easy. We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by images of other people's success. But that doesn't mean you have to let it control you. You always have a choice. You can either let comparison steal your joy, or you can take back your power and focus on your own path. Choose you. Choose to be better than you were yesterday. Because that's the only comparison that truly matters. Your mindset is everything. It controls the way you see the world, the way you react to challenges, and ultimately the way your life unfolds. If you don't believe that, take a look at the people around you. The ones who are stuck, frustrated, and always complaining. They're trapped in a mindset that keeps them small. The ones who are growing, improving, and making things happen, They've mastered the ability to shift their mindset. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's the way they think. If you believe you're stuck, you'll stay stuck. If you believe you're not capable, you won't take action. If you believe life is happening to you instead of for you, you'll always feel like a victim. But the moment you decide to shift your mindset, to see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and growth as a choice, you take back control. That's when everything changes. Most people go through life on autopilot. They let their thoughts control them instead of the other way around. And here's the problem with that. Your mind is programmed to keep you safe, not to help you grow. It's wired for comfort, for routine, for familiarity. That's why stepping outside your comfort zone feels uncomfortable. That's why your brain tries to talk you out of doing things that could actually change your life. It's not because you're incapable. It's because your mind is designed to keep you where you are. But if you want to grow, if you want to create something better for yourself, you have to override that programming. You have to train your mind to work for you instead of against you. That starts with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts. How often do you tell yourself you're not good enough? How often do you talk yourself out of taking action because you're afraid of failing? How often do you let self-doubt dictate your decisions? If you want to shift your mindset, you have to start recognizing the patterns that are keeping you stuck. Because once you see them, you can change them. The next step, rewire your beliefs. And this isn't about fake positivity. It's not about standing in front of a mirror and saying, I'm successful if you don't believe it. It's about choosing better thoughts. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, say, I'm learning and growing every day. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, every failure is teaching me something valuable. Instead of saying, this is impossible, say, I haven't figured it out yet. That one word, yet, can completely change the way you see your potential because it shifts your mindset from limitation to possibility. And here's the thing, your thoughts create your reality. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, on what you don't have, on why things aren't working, you will attract more of that into your life. But if you shift your focus to solutions, to opportunities, to what is possible, you'll start seeing a different reality unfold. This isn't some abstract idea, it's neuroscience. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, and it filters information based on what you focus on. If you're always looking for problems, that's all you'll see. But if you train your mind to look for opportunities, to focus on growth, to see yourself as capable, your brain will start filtering the world in a way that aligns with that mindset. This is why successful people seem to attract more success. It's not because they're lucky, it's because they've trained their minds to look for opportunities instead of obstacles. It's because they've made the decision to shift their mindset, to see failure as part of the process, to keep moving forward even when things feel hard. And that's a choice you can make too. The final step? Take action. Because all the mindset shifts in the world won't help you if you don't take action. Growth doesn't come from just thinking differently. It comes from doing differently. It comes from showing up for yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It comes from taking small, consistent steps toward your goals, even when the progress feels slow. It comes from trusting that if you keep going, keep learning, and keep improving, things will start to change. Your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your biggest limitation. And the best part, you get to decide. You get to choose what you believe. You get to choose where you focus your energy. You get to choose how you respond to setbacks, challenges, and failures. And those choices, they determine everything. So make the choice today, the choice to shift your mindset, to step into your potential, and to create the life you know you're capable of living. Energy is everything. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you move, it all affects the life you create. Yet so many people go through life completely unaware of where their energy is going. They spend their time on things that drain them, on people who don't support them, on thoughts that keep them stuck. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, unmotivated, lost. But here's the truth. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing your energy, because the energy you bring into each day is the foundation for everything else. Think about this. How often do you wake up already feeling tired? Not just physically, but mentally. You're overwhelmed before the day even starts. You've got a list of things to do, responsibilities piling up, maybe even a million doubts running through your mind. And instead of taking control of your energy, you let the day take control of you. You react instead of leading. You allow distractions, negativity, and stress to dictate your mood. And by the end of the day, you feel drained, unfulfilled, and stuck in the same cycle. But what if you flip the script? What if you started your day by setting the tone for how you want to feel? What if, instead of letting your energy get scattered in 100 different directions, you focused it on the things that truly matter? That's how transformation happens, not through luck, not through waiting for motivation, but through intentionality. The first step in shifting your energy is awareness. You have to start paying attention to what lifts you up and what drags you down. Who are the people in your life that make you feel energized and inspired? And who are the ones that leave you feeling drained and unmotivated? What habits fill you with a sense of purpose? And what habits steal your time and focus? Most people don't realize how much of their energy is being wasted on things that don't serve them. They hold on to toxic relationships because they're afraid of letting go. They consume negative news and wonder why they feel anxious all the time. They spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing their life to someone else's, and wonder why they feel like they're not good enough. Once you become aware of where your energy is going, you take your power back. You start making better choices. You stop giving your attention to things that don't deserve it. And instead, you invest your energy into things that actually move you forward. That could mean setting boundaries with people who drain you. It could mean replacing time-wasting habits with productive ones. It could mean changing the way you speak to yourself, shifting from self-doubt to self-belief. And let's talk about your thoughts, because your mindset plays a massive role in your energy. If you constantly tell yourself that you're tired, that you're stuck, that things never work out for you, guess what? You'll feel exactly that way. But when you shift your internal dialogue, when you start speaking to yourself like someone who is capable, strong, and worthy, your energy shifts too. The way you talk to yourself determines how you show up, and how you show up determines your results. Your energy is also affected by movement. If you feel sluggish and unmotivated, ask yourself, how are you treating your body? Are you moving? Are you fueling yourself with good food? Are you taking care of your physical health? Because energy isn't just a mental game, it's a physical one too. And when you start moving your body, even in small ways, you shift your state. You activate a new level of energy that allows you to show up more powerfully in everything you do. The last piece, protecting your energy. Because once you start making these changes, you'll notice that some people won't like it. Not everyone wants to see you grow. Not everyone wants you to shift your energy because it means they have to confront their own choices. But that's not your problem. You are not responsible for making other people comfortable at the expense of your own well-being. You do not need permission to protect your energy. And when you do, you'll notice a powerful change, clarity, confidence, and a deep sense of peace that comes from knowing you are in control of your life. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been exhausted, if you've been wondering why things aren't changing, start here. Start with your energy. Where is it going? Who are you giving it to? What are you allowing into your space? Because once you take control of your energy, you take control of everything. And that is when your transformation begins. Your life is a direct reflection of your daily habits. Not your wishes, not your goals, not even your motivation, your habits. The things you do consistently, the choices you make over and over again, The small actions that seem insignificant in the moment but compound over time, those are what shape your reality. So if you want to change your life, you don't need to wait for some big breakthrough. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start with your habits. Because once you shift your habits, everything else starts to fall into place. Most people don't realize how much of their life is controlled by habits. You wake up and immediately grab your phone, scrolling through notifications before you've even gotten out of bed. That's a habit. You tell yourself you'll work on your goals later, but later never comes because you've built a habit of procrastination. You say you don't have time to exercise, to read, to invest in yourself, but the truth is, you've just built habits that prioritize everything except your personal growth. And until you recognize that, nothing will change. The good news? You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and be a completely different person. You just have to start with one habit, one small, consistent action that moves you in the direction you want to go. Because here's the thing. Habits are powerful, not because they create change instantly, but because they create change inevitably. When you build the right habits, success becomes automatic. You don't have to force it. You don't have to rely on motivation. It just becomes who you are. So where do you start? Start with awareness. Pay attention to the habits that are keeping you stuck. What are the things you do every single day that are holding you back? Do you constantly hit snooze and start your day in a rush? Do you spend hours on social media and then wonder why you don't have time for the things that matter? Do you let negative thoughts run on autopilot and then wonder why you don't feel confident? Be brutally honest with yourself, because until you acknowledge the habits that aren't serving you, you can't replace them with ones that do. The next step, make it easy. Most people fail to build good habits because they try to do too much at once. They say, I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m., go to the gym for an hour, meditate, read, write in my journal, and eat a perfect diet, all in one day. And then when they inevitably fall off track, they think they're not disciplined enough. But discipline isn't the problem. The problem is trying to change everything at once instead of focusing on one small habit at a time. So instead of trying to do it all, start with one. If you want to be healthier, don't force yourself into a strict workout routine that you'll quit in a week. Just commit to moving your body for 5 minutes a day. If you want to be more productive, don't try to create a perfect morning routine. Just commit to starting your day without checking your phone for the first 30 minutes. If you want to build confidence, don't expect to feel amazing overnight. Just commit to replacing one self-doubt thought with a more empowering one every day. Small habits lead to big results. And here's the key. You have to be consistent. A habit is not something you do once in a while. It's something you do every single day until it becomes automatic. And that means showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when progress feels slow. Because habits aren't about instant gratification. They're about long-term transformation. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together, who are successful, confident, and disciplined. They didn't get there overnight. They got there by doing the small things every day that most people ignore. They got there by mastering their habits. And if they can do it, so can you. So if you're waiting for motivation, stop. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop. The moment is now. Pick one habit. Start small. Be consistent. Because once you shift your habits, you shift your life. And that's when everything starts to change. You are one decision away from a completely different life. One shift in how you think, how you act, how you show up. That's all it takes to change your trajectory. But too many people are waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting until they feel ready. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Because transformation doesn't happen when you wait. It happens when you decide. The truth is, change doesn't come from wishing. It doesn't come from hoping things will be different. It comes from action. It comes from the moment you decide that you are no longer available for excuses, for negativity, for anything that isn't moving you forward. And when you make that decision, when you fully commit, everything starts to shift. Most people don't realize how much power they have. They think their circumstances control them, that their past defines them, that they're stuck because of things outside their control. But that's a lie. Your past does not define you. Your circumstances are not permanent. You are not stuck. The only thing keeping you where you are is you. The way you think, the way you react, the way you choose to show up every single day, that is what determines your future. And the second you take responsibility for that, you take your power back. Think about it. Every choice you make is shaping your life. The way you spend your time, the thoughts you allow into your mind, the standards you set for yourself, all of it is creating your reality. So if you don't like where you are, it's time to make a different choice. It's time to stop settling for less than what you deserve. And let's talk about fear, because that's what stops most people. Fear of failure, fear of what others will think, fear of stepping into the unknown. But here's the truth. Fear isn't real. It's a story your mind is telling you to keep you safe, to keep you in the same place. And if you listen to it, if you let it control your decisions, you will never grow. You will never know what you're truly capable of. But when you push through that fear, when you take action in spite of it, you realize something powerful. It was never as scary as you thought. The fear was just an illusion, and the only thing standing between you and the life you want was you. So what are you waiting for? The perfect moment? It doesn't exist. The feeling of being ready? It's not coming. The people around you to support you? They might not, and none of that matters. Because you have the power to start anyway. You have the power to take the first step, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain. And here's what happens when you do. The second you decide to step up, to stop making excuses, to stop letting fear run your life, the universe responds. Doors start to open, opportunity.